Well, good evening, everyone. It's 8:01 on Testimony Tuesday. On behalf of the person that invited you to this Zoom, my name is Brittany Francis. I want to say welcome to every single one of you, to our family members that are on here that are just going to share their testimony. Welcome to our family members. But if you're a guest, my hope is that you are going to get off of this and you are just going to be so filled with excitement with what you have heard that you're going to give an overwhelming yes to this technology. Our hope and dreams on this group on top tier is that we bring hope to those that have zero hope whatsoever and whatever they're going on, whatever's going on in their bodies, whatever's going on, however they're being attacked in their body. You know what? We have a technology that's going to blow your mind. So, I just want to say welcome to every single one of you. And with that, let me go ahead and share my screen. This technology actually is in the world of stem cells. Okay. And so, what we're going to do today is we're going to share some incredible testimonies. We have several lined up, others that are not just lined up, that are just going, we're just going to share. And, what I want you to do is just lean in. Okay. Lean into these testimonies. Know that your testimony is going to be completely different than the person that shares. Why? We're going to talk about the science quickly as to why that is, but all of our bodies were created differently. Every single one of our bodies. So your issues, internal issues and exterior issues are going to be different than mine, are going to be different than your friends that invited you to this. So do know that this technology works on everybody, on everything, every single time. Okay, given enough time. Okay, it does work, but just know that your story is going to be different. Okay, so with that, let me do this first. I'm actually going to stop my share, and I would like my friend Sheena to actually unmute herself. I'm going to spotlight her because she shared her testimony, and this is my why. Okay, and everybody on here that invited you on here, this is our why. Sheena, can you share what has happened with this technology? And then I'm going to jump into the science quickly, and then we'll open up for testimonies. But can you share what's going on?
I would be honored to share with you guys. I'm super excited about what's happening with me and what has happened. I was struggling so much with flu and pneumonia over the winter time. For 3 months, I just could not shake the flu and ended up in the hospital with really sick with pneumonia and kind of scared. I got out of the hospital and just still couldn't shake it. And I got a phone call, and a friend said, "You want to try something different?" And I said, "Girl, I will try anything." I started the patches on March 3rd. In 2 days, my frozen shoulder that I had gotten in the hospital, that was so painful. I could not even put my hand under my arm. That's how stuck it was. It was like this. And then within a week, it was like this. My pneumonia symptoms, all the fatigue, the coughing, the aching was all gone within 3 days. So and those were really miraculous things. But the rest of what's happened to me is what's I wasn't even expecting to have happen. I After 2 weeks, I started just show. I mean, I literally one day thought, I am bouncing up the stairs. I couldn't even walk across the living room 2 weeks ago. And I was so excited to feel that good. But then within a month, I started noticing that actually I noticed my tinnitus was gone only because it came back after a long flight and I was really tired. I didn't realize that my tinnitus had gone away till it came back for a day when I was tired. So now when I fly and I'm tired, it does come back for a little bit. But bigger than that, all the things it has done for me is for 4 years, I have struggled with post COVID stuff, seen 5 specialists, trying to take care of heart, lung, stomach, back pain, all the stuff that just where it landed on me. And just really, really struggling, not being able to do housework. I'd have good days and I'd have bad days. And I even had to get a stent because of all that. And about 4 months after, I've been on them for 5 months. So after 4 months, I saw my cardiologist and he said, "You don't need to come back anymore. You're doing great." I canceled a lung surgery where they're going to remove they were going to biopsy some nodes on my lungs. So I canceled it because I was feeling great. And he said, "That's fine. We'll check you in 6 months." And my lung capacity actually went from 79% to in the mid 90s. So that, just there was a big deal. And I'm just so grateful because it's silly things that I don't even think about, but I had no allergies this year. I was in Victoria, Canada in June, hiking in the most beautiful places. And I kept saying to my husband, my nose doesn't itch. I feel great. In fact, I was keeping up with my 28-year-old kids, 5 to 7 miles a day of hiking, and feeling great about that. I'm going to say at 66. So the last thing I want to share with y'all is that I was really depressed when I was that sick, and I was just praying, going, God, if you want me to do what things you need me to do on earth, could you heal me? And I was really depressed, and I ended up on antidepressants. My doctor has dropped those in half now because I told him I feel great. And last month, I've gotten to work with the rescue efforts and the flood relief over here in Central Texas that we had. And those were long, hard, hot days. One day on a crew, I had the 20-year-olds asking me if I was tired yet. And I just would come home at night and still, I only worked on a crew one day because it was very hard. But even being out there helping with everything else, 6 to 10 hours a day, it was hot. And I would still come home with energy to exercise and be with my family. So it's changed my life. And I'm very grateful for my friend who told me about these.
Oh, Sheena, that was just so, so beautiful. I'm just so grateful that we got to meet and I got to meet you in person this weekend because it's just so much fun seeing these stories. But, this is our why. This is why you guys were invited on here. What we have our hands on is extremely unique, you guys. This is like nothing that you've ever seen, nothing that we ever will see probably in our lifetime. So lean into this as you hear these testimonies. Just beautiful. So thank you, Miss Sheena. So what are stem cells? Because this business, what we have our hands on is all about stem cells. Okay. They are the master building block of the entire body. So it's their job when we have stem cells, it's our stem cells' job to naturally repair and naturally renew. So Sheena had mentioned earlier about COVID issues. When her stem cells woke up, what happened was her stem cells began to go to work and find like spots in her body. And what they are, stem cells are like heat seeking missiles. Okay. They look for the broken areas of the body and go through a to-do list of what needs to be fixed and begin to go and fix those things. Okay. So they're found throughout various organs, various tissues, and they replenish dying cells. Okay. So they take care of inflammation, regenerate the issues of worn out cells. They fight viruses. Okay. And then they energize you. So they're vital. Stem cells are a hot topic, right? For thousands of dollars, you can go and get those injected. Or you can actually wake up your cells because they go to sleep. Okay. So again, they're undifferentiated. So if you were to go and burn your hand on your stove, if you have awake and alert stem cells because they're undifferentiated, they can travel to your hand and say, uh-oh, she was damaged in her nerves. She was damaged in her muscle for her hand to open. Let's begin to turn into whatever was necessary for her hand to begin to open. Okay, so that explains these stem cells. Okay, now by the time we're 30, half of our stem cells go dormant. They go to sleep. Okay. By the time we're 60, 90% of them go to sleep. So that is why stem cells are a hot topic because the older that we get, the more we need them because our stem cells are asleep. They're not dead. And the fewer stem cells we have, the faster we age, the slower we heal, especially with all these COVID things that have happened post COVID. It's interesting to see what has happened as we've woken up our stem cells. Okay. Now, to bring some validity, before we bring on actually a stem cell expert, I want to talk about David Schmidt real quickly. He is the founder and the CEO of the X39 and of LifeWave. He's incredibly brilliant. He has over 200 patents. So you're not jumping on here hearing about testimonies that aren't real. Okay, I just want you to hear that because when my husband and I jumped in and we heard about the testimonies, we trusted our friend because they were actually in the ministry world with us, but it just sounded so good too good to be true almost. But when we heard about David Schmidt and his history with actually the Navy SEALs, He was actually contracted by the Navy SEALs over 20 years ago to come up with something that they could use that would keep them awake for 24 to 36 hours straight, ready for combat. Okay, so that's his history. Okay, so he began to study the body because the Navy SEALs were actually hooked on amphetamines at the time. Okay, he began to look at the body and he needed to do something to the body that the body would actually have a chemical reaction to elevate energy because it could not be something that they took in their body. Okay, so he began to look at light therapy. So there's nothing kooky or weird about this. This science has been done for hundreds and hundreds of years. So he began to lean into that, and as he found that our body not only emits frequencies of light because we actually have light inside our body called biophotons, but our body actually has chemical reactions in response to the light frequency of either out of us or in us. So it's very, very interesting. He found that actually around our body, we emit a frequency of light between 1 to 2 centimeters. And there's all different kinds of colors of light frequencies found throughout different acupoints of our body. Again, there's nothing weird about that. We can find each other through night vision goggles, right? Because of the frequencies of light and heat. Okay, so he was really leaning into it and he found that there was a specific red frequency. Remember, this is over 20 years ago. He found that there was actually a specific red frequency of light that was emitted off of our bodies that when reflected back into the body would elevate adrenaline. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Navy SEALs began to use this technology because it was patented, it worked, and as the Navy SEALs began to use this, Stanford University got wind of this. Doctors began to get wind of this. Olympic coaches began to get wind of this. Hence why you see Michael Phelps right here. He actually was wearing the technology when he won his Olympic medals. So this technology has been around for a long time. It's called photobiomodulation. David Schmidt really was onto something very, very special. He knew it was unique, but he thinks ahead and he thinks future. So he spent 10 years and $4.5 million after that, really leaning into stem cells and finding that all those different frequencies of light, when he would reflect a frequency of light, different chemical reactions would happen, whether the body would lower cortisol levels with one frequency, or the glutathione, which actually fights viruses, would be elevated. He was on a mission to find a specific frequency that would wake up stem cells. And ladies and gentlemen, he did it. That's why you're on here. This is why you're about to hear more testimonies like Sheena. This is why we do these on Tuesday nights, for you to be filled with hope, because this technology absolutely works. It's patented. You can't patent placebo. I can't fold one of these papers and call it a rocket ship without it working and being a rocket ship. Okay. So he has over 70 patents on this technology. Okay. And so it's incredibly brilliant. This technology reflects a frequency of light back into the body, and then naturally the body elevates a GHKCU peptide. Okay. When that GHKCU peptide is elevated, miracles start happening. Okay. So again, not on trial. This technology works on everybody, on everything, every single time given enough time. It activates those stem cells instead of synthetically injecting a GHKCU peptide, instead of synthetically injecting peptide or not only peptides, but stem cells for thousands of dollars. That is what ends up happening. Megan, I would love it if you could unmute yourself. Megan is actually a stem cell expert. I would love for her to share what has happened or share her testimony quickly. And then we're going to open it up for more testimonies. But I really want you to hear what Megan has to say, because it's really exciting to have somebody with such an expertise in the stem cell world. Megan, can you share what happened with your knee and what brought you to this technology?
Absolutely, Brittany. Uh, Ladies and gentlemen, I have been in the medical spa industry for 20 years. In my practice here in the Austin, Texas market, I added regenerative stem cell therapy, i.e. injections slash IVs in 2019. Why did I do that? Well, because in 2018, Western medicine said I needed a knee replacement. And I had bone on bone and a meniscus tear. I could not walk. But I did research. I'm a researcher of sorts. And having a knee replacement was a 60-40 ratio of success. That was too low for me for success. And it didn't last forever. So I said, my goodness, 5 to 10 years later, I'm going to have another surgery. So I started doing research on stem cell, which I knew of, and found a location, and I had to travel to it and spend $4,000 on a 1 cc for my left knee area. Yes, it absolutely regenerated the tissue and the meniscus tear, but that was in 18. And I was introduced to LifeWave in 21 by the company that I found who I could buy the regenerative stem cell medium from and have my nurses trained. I took a nurse to a training in May of 21, and LifeWave was there. And I asked the gentleman who owned this company, who was a retired orthopedic surgeon and a pioneer in regenerative stem cell. So this was his decision. And he said, well, because you know yourself, not everyone can afford perinatal stem cell, birth product stem cell, and that it's a great tool to introduce to your patients post treatment. And so I said, well, that makes sense. And so with that, I met with them and got involved, bought some product. And I had been using it for myself and introducing it to individuals here at Novita Regenerative Wellness post regenerative perinatal. So I have people that have been using this for years. And I was sharing this with Brittany earlier. Today is my 75th birthday. And a patient of mine called me today to wish me a happy birthday. She's 86, and she wanted me to know that she had just come back from a trip visiting her daughter, and she was able to do it herself. She said, quote unquote, I will never not use these patches. So guys, she's been using these patches, X39 specifically, since post her perinatal stem cell, which was over 3 years ago. I personally, as I said, have had no more stem cell perinatal. I just used the patch. My hair has grown back. I was balding. I have lost 40 pounds in the last 3.5 years, and basically have more energy than I've ever had. I sleep through the night, do not get up to use the restroom. I just really am committed to my health and wellness. So basically, I have many more stories like this woman that called me today, but she called me today to wish me a happy birthday.
I love it. Well, happy birthday, Miss Megan. I just had to, I mean, when you have a wealth of information about stem cells and it's a testimony Tuesday, I had to have her share because truly this is something that's extremely unique. So it's not on trial, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. So it's actually a clinical study, and then I'm going to open it up for more testimonies. The clinical study, the newest one, okay, because they're actually doing more and more and more. A newest clinical study shows that if you use this technology for longer than 6 months, okay, the rule of thumb is you want to wear it at minimum 1 month per decade that you're alive, okay, but if you use it longer than 6 months, you actually reverse an age by an average of 8.5 years. Okay, so it's incredibly brilliant. That's why Megan's getting these people that are calling her and saying, "Oh my gosh, I won't ever stop because my stem cells continue to wake up." So we're looking at a lengthening of time. So it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. You are not, ladies and gentlemen, there is no drug going into your system. This is a reflection of frequency of light back into the body, and the body is doing the work. Okay, so it's just a phototherapy. When we're children, our parents tell us, get outside and get your vitamin D, and we're taught that the vitamin D comes from the sun. That's not what happens. The sun activates our body produces vitamin D. This reflects that frequency of light. Our body produces the GHKCU peptide, and then stem cells wake up. Within the first few days, 4,000 genes begin to reset. Within six weeks, brain becomes balanced. So you're going to hear some testimonies. I am sure of it. PTSD, anxiety, depression, memory loss. All of these pieces start coming together because of the power of the technology when the GHKC is elevated. And then within 3 months, your collagen is increased. Okay, so hair, skin, nails, like Megan said, but your ability to move. The older that we get, the harder it is to move. And then within 6 months, it's scientifically, clinically proven that the cardiovascular age of the heart reverses. So what you have your hands on is very, very special, very, very unique. And that is why you're going to hear these testimonies from increased strength all the way to mental clarity. It doesn't matter. Okay, so with that, I would love it if we could open it up for testimonies. We already know that the technology works, but you might be on here going, well, what about me? And so, please, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat, well, what about me? Because while people are sharing, I will be happy to share some testimonies on the group chat, and so that you guys can see that, and we'll go from there. So anybody want to unmute or raise your hand by clicking the react button at the bottom and share what has happened for you? And I will call on y'all because I know some of your testimonies on here. All right, Angeline. You can just unmute. Oh, do it one more time. Unmute.
Okay, technology is hard for me tonight. So I'm so excited. Hi, everyone. I'm Angeline Moore. I'm out of Orlando, Florida. I literally just came back and participated in the This Is It Next Level convention, and it was absolutely incredible. Make it to the next event, guys. So I'm so nervous. I don't know why. This is like I've shared
You
this
are
already.
fine.
But I'm 40, I have 4 kids, and for a long time, for years, I've been battling and was diagnosed with fibroids. My allergies being in Florida have been out of control. I lived on ibuprofen and my allergy medicine. If I did not take it, I was miserable like halfway through the day. I had afternoon crash all the time. And I just had a baby. He just turned 1. My husband, he had a near-death experience last year and had major surgery on his shoulder and elbow. And Megan DiMartino, she's my mentor, and she's been telling me about LifeWave, and I kind of like, that's awesome, but okay. And she's into stem cell, like you heard her story. And when everything happened with my husband, she's like, you should try this. And I knew that if I didn't try it, my husband wouldn't. And I felt, he was skeptical about stem cells overall, but I'm like, well, if this reactivates your own, maybe he'll be more like leaning toward it. So I started patching at the end of February, beginning March. I used to have to call out in PTO every month during my monthly ladies. And it would literally, I just would want to crawl in bed, and I was just miserable, and my husband left me alone, and I was in so much pain, and night and day difference. Then I stopped patching last month. I was just like, I don't know, I fell off for a little bit, and never again. I will never not patch. I'm back on it this month, and the difference in my pain, my energy, my just everything overall, even my allergies, has been so significant. This is absolutely game changing. Like, I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited to jump in on it. And to me, you guys, this is all about 100% wellness, wealth, right? Like, and then the business wealth on it is just a bonus. So honestly, I'm just stoked, and
So you're
I'm so
just feeling
grateful
so
for
good.
you guys.
You're feeling so good. I love it. I love it. So that is just fantastic. I love it. And it's just going to be even more from there. So anybody else? I know that there are tons of testimonies on here. Who else would like to share? All right, Dave and Diana. You just need to unmute. There you
go. Okay, I'm going to talk real quick. I've had 3 things. We've been on the patch just a little over 1 year. First thing was, I have my doctor has been trying for 12 years to put me on statins, and her and I don't agree on that, and I won't do it. And after 1 year being on the patch, my cholesterol went down 60 points. I've never been this low in my life, and it feels phenomenal. Number 2, I walk every morning. I do about 3.5 miles, and I just turned 79, and I knocked 6 minutes off my time, which that feels pretty good. But the third thing was 2 years ago, I had my eyes examined, and doctor said that I was a candidate for retina surgery because I had a big gap in my right retina. So I said, look, I can see good. Let's just wait and see what happens. So last year I came back. It was still there. Didn't get any worse. Didn't get any better. So she said, okay, we'll wait and watch. This year I go back in June, 1 year on the patch, and my retina's flat. And she looked at the picture and she said, that's a miracle. I've never seen that without surgery. And Di said, well, that's probably the patches. She said, I don't know anything about the patches, but that's a miracle. So I've been blessed.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. And it's just the beginning, guys. It's just the beginning. I'm going to call on Katrina Martinez. Katrina, are you on by chance?
Yes, I am.
Yay! Okay, Katrina, can you share? Because I heard just a snippet of when you first started, but I think more has happened.
Yes, I'm actually in renal failure. I am doing dialysis. I've been doing it for the last year and a half. And if you know anyone in renal failure, they have tons of pain head to toe. And so I started patching June 9th. And since I've started patching, I am pain-free, which is amazing. I also had neuropathy in my legs, which is gone as well. And every month since I've got sick, I have to do an iron/blood transfusion because my blood levels drop. And July was the first month since I've got sick that I did not have to do a blood transfusion or an iron transfusion. So it's had a lot of benefits. My blood pressure is pretty level. It does spike a little bit depending on the event, but not astronomical like it was. So I'm very grateful that I found the patch and that Greg and Jane called us the day that they called us and introduced us to this technology.
Oh, Katrina, it's better than it was a few months ago. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet friend. Well, we're so excited. We're here rejoicing with you, my friend. So
Thank you.
more and more and more, we know that there's going to be more happening. So that's just amazing, Katrina. I am so grateful that you shared. Hey, Rod, I would like to know if Rod could jump in. Roderick Walker, could you unmute yourself?
Can you hear me, Brittany?
I can hear you. Where are you at? Can you turn your video on?
I think it's on.
Okay, great. Let me see. Awesome.
Can you see me?
I'm finding you. Oh, there you are. Hey, Rod.
Hey, girl. Hey, listen, I could not go another moment without expressing just I just want to thank you for doing what you do for our team or just for the community here, and what you do, just behind the scenes, keeping us informed with everything. I just want to thank you so much for that, Brittany. But I also could not sit here and not tell how good God is, because I love him so much that he has allowed man to become so smart. Thank you, David, for being so creative in what he does to allow the body to help itself. And just my own testimonies, and I'm gonna get out of your way. I started May 3rd with this company, and I started patching May 3rd, and by May 5th, I had issues with sleeping on my stomach because I had so much pain in my neck. I am a former football player from Little League, college to NFL. I'm the director of player relations for the NFL Alumni Association. So I've been beat up a lot of years. But the pain that I had just from sleeping on my stomach, I couldn't even sleep on a pillow. And if I didn't use a pillow long enough, then I would start aching. Day number 3, I was sleeping on my belly, and it was the best morning that I've ever had in a long time. Now, to go along with that, I'm 53 years old. I wake up 5, 6 times a night just to go to the restroom. And a lot of you guys on this call probably can attest to that. Um, on day number 3, I slept all night long. I woke up one time to go use the restroom, and that one time was good enough for me. It was the best feeling that I ever had. I woke up so excited. I woke up so excited because I had so much energy. It's so much that goes on while being patched. It is so much that's happening to me. And here's the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with. I've had and this is recent. It's so recent. I've had issues, and they're not really issues because I didn't notice them, but the little floaties in your eyes, guys, ladies and gentlemen, the little floaties that just go around and create a seahorse in your vision, create a gnat in your vision. You started swatting at things that are not there, right? On day number 9, I know how long it
His high
took.
blood pressure.
So that's why I can say day number 3, day number 9, because I know what I was dealing with, but I also know when I wasn't dealing with it anymore. Those floaters were gone. They were gone, and it was just so amazing, so amazing. I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful that my man, teammate Greg Brown introduced me and called me about this. Um, there's so many of us that have internal issues that we don't know what's going on with us. There's so many of us that know someone else that has issues that they don't even want to speak on. Here's an opportunity for us to help change people's lives. That's all I want to say. Brittany, thank you so much for this platform. Thank you for what you've done and what you're doing. I'm so grateful for you and the team. And that's what it takes. So I really, really appreciate everyone on this call. Thank you so much.
Oh, that was just so beautiful. And and I will say that I'm glad that Rod brought that up because if you do have children, if you're a guest here and you do have children that are in sports, patch them. Patch those babies because I will tell you, I have 2 little football players. I see a little hand on somebody's screen going, "I'm a player." I have a 10-year-old that actually he had broke a portion of his wrist. We patched it. He was supposed to be out of the actually out of the Super Bowl for his age, and he actually was cleared in 2 weeks, and he was supposed to be 12 weeks out. And then I had a little boy, and my other little boy, he actually broke his collarbone and playing football. We're a football family. We're in Texas, and he broke his collarbone, and it was supposed to be a 12-week out injury. It was 3-week injury. So patch those children because what I will tell you is, and we have a lot of professional players that can stand behind this, is that they go through a lot of beat up. They love it. They love what they do. These kids love what they do, whether it's soccer, they need longer stamina, all the way to if they are, rugby players, football players, whatever it is, patch those kids. So, I love that. So thank you, Rod. Who else would like to share? I want to at least get 2 or 3 more because this is so great. Yes,
I can't.
yes, Brandy.
It's really hard to follow Roderick and amen to everything he said. I love everything he said. But mine's gonna be a little bit more common folk story, maybe to relate to the people that don't have the miracles and thank God for the miracles. But I'm this week 12 weeks in, and I've had a knee issue I've been dealing with for a couple of years. Orthopedic surgeon said the only option is stem cell treatments. I could not afford that, so I've been dealing with it for over a year. And so I was hoping that it would work for that, and I haven't had an issue since day one. And I just kept expecting it because it was a daily worry. Can I turn left? Can I step? I didn't even have to step. I could just turn. Um, so that's been fantastic. And, since I just started working out and pushing it the last couple weeks, I'm one of those that doesn't run unless somebody's chasing me or my kid's in trouble. But I've been running up my hill here the last couple weeks, and it's still doing good. So that's number one. And then around week 4 to 6, I had a lot of things happen. I've had insomnia the last 5 years. which happens to be the 5 years that I've been at home with my children, homeschooling and taking care of them. And that's been rough when you only sleep from like 7 in the morning to 10 in the morning. It messes up the whole day. And I was still exhausted, and functioning was difficult on a daily basis. So I've seen multiple doctors on that. They all claimed it was a hormone issue, but nobody could fix it. So we dealt with it and have been dealing with it. And when I started sleeping, that was a hallelujah moment. And so now we're on a schedule. It's a huge blessing to be able to get up at 7. If I'll get up to go to the bathroom, it's only once, and I go back to sleep. I'm not up for 3 to 4 hours after that. I go to sleep when I lay down. I mean, it's insane. But it's made our life as a family tremendously better. Another thing was in 2011, I had a head injury and a brain bleed. Lost my sense of taste and smell for 3 years. But on top of that, it changed my personality. Before that, I never had empathy for people who had any type of brain imbalance, chemical imbalance in the brain. And all of a sudden, my empathy was there. I could not multitask. And it changed me. I'm surprised my husband is still with me, but he stuck through it. And it just made life harder. Anyway, the clarity, the focus, the calmness of the brain, which I had been told would happen. I didn't believe it. I couldn't understand it. But being able to handle the tasks on my plate, which is always multiple, as y'all can hear and see. I have run 2 businesses and I homeschool my kids, and being able to, when they are fighting or there's an issue, I can process what's going on and not feel like I'm a volcano of emotion that's about to explode, which then affects the whole rest of my day. I can set myself apart and we can deal with the issue. Anyway, all like I said, this is all
Love it.
just, it's not miracles, but it is to us,
It
you know?
is.
And then real quick, I'm not having to wear my glasses to drive. That was a surprise early treat. My dad has been type 1 for over 50 years. His kidneys are better. His A1C dropped a whole point out of the 8s into the low 7s. He has macular degeneration. He just went there last week and he could read 2 lines further down on the left and the right. That was the whole reason I started this, guys, was for my dad so that he could see. I'm gonna cry. And then my mom has only been using her blood pressure medicine from twice a day to like 3 times a week. So, yeah, I started it for them. I sent my whole patch order to them, and after like 3 weeks, I was like, okay, we need them too. So anyway, that's it for me. God bless.
So good. That's our why. That is our why, you guys. Oh, Brandy is just so beautiful. And this is just the start. Like 12 weeks? Are you kidding? Now we're going to end with one more, and I am so excited. Jerry Kiefer, if you could unmute yourself, I know you're trying to turn on your video. If you could unmute yourself and oh, good. And then we'll have Miss Emily, and then we'll end. That's perfect. So Jerry Kiefer. Let's see, where is Jerry? Let's see if he can unmute. I know he's trying. Okay, Emily, if you want to unmute, and I know Jerry, you're trying to unmute. So there's a little microphone, Jerry, at the bottom.
Okay, I'm ready if that's
Yes,
okay
go
then.
for it, Miss Emily.
Okay, great. All right. My name is Emily Ward, and I've been patching for about 9 months. And I've got a lot of experiences with my family with our wins for family and friends. But tonight I was just going to tell you a quick little story of my most recent win. Is I was recently in a shopping center and turned around and stepped on the edge of a sidewalk, rolled my ankle, and broke a bone in my foot. And I was just immediately started swelling. I was just absolutely miserable. But I got in my car and I was going to drive back home. And then all of a sudden I thought, I can't even make it home. So I stopped in the parking lot and I said, where is my X39? So I had to put a patch on just to help to get comfortable enough to get home. So anyway, it was a very, very uncomfortable experience. And about 5 days later, I was finally able to get into the orthopedic surgeon, and they thought I was going to have surgery, and I said no. So they put me in a walking boot for a little while. So I wore that for about 3 or 4 days, and I said I'm done with a walking boot. Then I transitioned from that to a post-surgical boot, and kind of wore that off and on for about 3 weeks, and said I think we're okay without using all this because I was doing so well because I just kept patching every single day. I made sure I put a patch right where the bone was broken and where all that inflammation was. And so fast forward, I ended up going to the convention this last weekend, and wow, what an experience it was. It truly was great. I hope everyone was able to either be there in person or to catch it on the replay or video, the live feed there. But I was able to walk around everywhere, all over that place. And like I said earlier, I did not miss a beat keeping up with anybody. I would have never known, just as comfortable as could be. And so thank goodness I was using the patches. And like I told Brittany earlier, I said, life happens. And so thankfully we have our patches when we need them. And I truly cannot imagine what it would have been like had I not been using the X39. So,
I love it.
and
I love
everybody
it.
needs them in their home.
They do. Well, I'm just going to read what Jerry said, and Jerry will have him on next week for sure. It says more energy, sleeping better, 80% plus post-COVID, brain fog lifted, vision in high definition day night, feels 60 at 76, hair is getting thicker and less white. Back ache no longer happening after January 2025 of 1986 is gone. Guys, that's what you have your hands on with this technology. How incredible. It's just so incredible, guys. So it's extremely sophisticated, like you guys saw. The testimonies are just unending. That's why we do these, is because if you have been just like, gosh, I don't know if I'm going to have any hope. I just don't know if there's anything left for me. Just know that this technology works on everybody. Okay, my husband and I went from canceling orthopedic appointments. My husband is no longer bleeding internally. The issues have just dissipated for us and our family. So you're going to wear the patch. You're going to get with whoever it is that invited you to this. And if you are new, and you can put it where you need it. Okay, so to prove that it worked, they selected two places, one on the back of the neck or one underneath the belly button. Okay, so you can put either place. All right, or you can put it on your knee, your ankle, whatever it is that's hurting. Okay, put it where you need it. Wear it 12 hours a day. You can take it off and put it on your dog or your horse or your cat because it works. Okay, so you can put it on them, then throw it away and put a new patch on the next day. It's activated for 16 to 20 hours. Once it hits your skin and your light frequency, it's activated. Okay, so just know that it does work on everything. Okay, so I will tell you that just wear it. Okay, 1 month per decade that you're alive. Stay hydrated with electrolytes because it's your body that's doing the work. There is a documentary that's being released about this company actually in 2.5 months. I cannot wait to watch it. It's called Let There Be Light. It's all about this technology. LifeWave did not do this documentary. A gentleman that was wearing this technology was absolutely mind blown. There's actually more technology that's coming up that's all being made to couple with the X39 because the X39 is everything, I'm telling you. And so he just heard about it and he said, my gosh, every person needs this. What you have your hands on is so special. I put in the group chat, this is at info.com. If you say, well, I didn't hear anything about stroke or migraines, or the answer is yes. On everybody, on everything, every single time, given enough time, you will have a testimony. I'm telling you, you cannot patent placebo. It works. Okay. So, and then there's also doctor Zooms that you can jump on every once in a while. We have tons of recordings. We have our dear friend Megan that shared her 75th birthday. Thank you for Megan for being on. But We have tons of different presentations of doctors explaining why they are incorporating it in their practice because they just can't help talking about this to their patients because they took a doctor's oath. There was actually a doctor that shared the other day from France that said, I took a doctor's oath. And that doctor's oath said that if I heard about something, that they'd be using it. There's actually a hospital in France, actually six, that actually said it is nearly criminal not to introduce this technology to our patients. And they actually rolled it into incorporating with their care. So it's absolutely brilliant. Our whys are hearing these testimonies, guys. You know, it's just so exciting. So you can wear it, you can share it, you can choose to use it just for yourself, whatever it is, but just get started. Get back to the person that invited you to this Zoom. You can jump in at core for 3 sleeves of X39. You can mix and match. If you have horrendous pain, then you can actually put IceWave in there, which actually blocks pain receptors while your stem cells are waking up and handling whatever's going on in your body. The advanced is a great way. It opens up a full compensation if you choose to wear and share this technology, but it's also great if you're a couple. You can mix and match. And then the premium is what my husband and I did because we have like every child under the sun, I feel, living in our house with all kinds of kids. And so we knew that everybody needed it. And so, you know, we chose to just share it with everybody that we knew, we loved. We loaned a sleeve until theirs came in. And we actually had several friends, one who actually had Lyme disease that had a miracle before we even had one. So, you know, guys, all I can tell you is if you're new, welcome to a family. We're going to pray over you. You are going to see miracles. You're going to be able to share testimonies that you never thought possible because of the power of what is behind this. It's just so incredible. So with that, welcome, you know, to our LifeWave team. I'm so excited to meet you and hear your testimony one day. And I pray that you have an incredible evening and we will see you very, very soon. God bless every single one of you and take care.